Hey everybody, I just wanted to do a quick recorded video outlining another basic skill in Excel. I don't know what everybody's familiarity with Excel is. Some people may use it every day in an office job. Some people might not use it at all. So I just wanted to cover some of the basic ones, or at least in this one basic one, to go along with this week's activity. So last week we worked on the basic histogram. This week we are enhancing that, and we're going into looking for relationships between data sets with two different variables. So again, we're going to start with an example that I think everybody's familiar with. So again, when I give an exam, or I have total grades, final grades at the end of a semester, I've got a grade for every single person. So in one column I've got grades, and each of these would be a person's name, or numbered student, or student A through Z, or however many this is. So each of these is a single grade, could be a single exam, could be a final grade. And then in the next column I've got age, so the age of the person with that specific score. And if we chart these, if I do a single histogram, it shows me how many grades fit into the different buckets, how many A's, how many B's, how many C's. So it gives me some visual reminder or summary of the performance. Now we want to enhance that and look for any kind of relationship or some meaning. So in this case, if we're looking at the grades versus each person's age, that might tell us if there's any correlation between a student's age and their performance in a class or on an exam. And we have to take a look at it to see what that looks like. We might think offhand, as the student gets older, their study skills get better, they're more familiar, maybe they've had the professor before, maybe they have learned how to take tests better. Could be any number of things, but we're looking for the general trend of, is there a correlation between a person's age and the grade that they get. So how to do that is to create a scatter diagram with each point in the scatter plot represents two things. So one, it will represent their score related to the scale on one axis, meaning, say we have the exam grades going up here from 0 to 100. We'll have a visual in a second. Maybe it's 1 to 100 here. Across the bottom it's 18, 20, 21. So actually here, let me just type in a couple numbers. 20, 21, 22. These are typical ages of college students. And on the other side, I don't know, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. Okay, so if a person has an exam score of an 80 and they're 18, we're going to see a dot on the scatter diagram. Sorry, I'm just formatting that. So you'll see a dot for that person there. If they're 20 and they get an 85, we'll see one here, and we'll have a dot for every single one of these points. So each dot will correlate with an age on one axis and a grade on the other. So let me get rid of these. Okay, so it's very simple. We just have our two columns of data. We select both of those. As you can tell, I'm still using a Mac. It's very similar on a Windows. I tend to think it's even easier, but this is what I'm on right now. So if we click on charts up here, we're looking for the scatter one, the dots, because we're not looking for a trend of what happened. Each of these are just independent data points. So scatter, you may even have, on another one I looked at, it had like recommended charts. You may see the exact one you're looking for. Here, this is what I want, marked scatter. And now we can see all of those different points we've been talking about. Two things. One, differently, reversed from when I was talking about, the grades are down here because they go from 60 to 100, and the ages go from 0 to 25. If you go into the options for the chart, there are ways to reassign that, and I'm actually just realizing on a Mac I don't remember how to do that. So here, we'll give you a life hack. So even easier way to fix this problem. Delete the graph I made. Simply reverse the order of the columns. So I cut and paste this over here. Select the two columns again, scatter, marked scatter, and now you can see I have my grades on that side, and the ages down here. This I may know how to fix. What I want to see is, see how this is very lumped together, and I've got a lot of white space over here because there aren't any infants who failed to the exam. So if I double click on, here, scale, it goes from minimum, it goes from 0 to 120. I'm hoping, I can see from the data I don't have anybody who got a 0, and I know because it's graded on a scale of 0 to 100 that it wouldn't be 120. This already corrected itself. So let me just hit this. Okay, now we have a smaller scale here. My ages are still pretty spread out. Again, no toddlers in my college level course. So if I double click on this axis, scale 0 to 25, let's make that like, I don't know, let's start with 15 to 25. Actually, 15 to 23. Okay, so now we still have, I should have just made it 18 to 21. Obviously, now I can't click on that. Scale, since I really know I don't need any extra space here. Okay, so this is what the data looks like in scattergram format. We can see, maybe it was an intro level class. I have a lot of people who were 18 and maybe they're freshmen. But we're kind of looking for the general shape of this data. And if you kind of draw a line through the middle of it, so here's the middle here, and the middle is probably between those 2 points. If you drew a line through those, it's going from the bottom left to the top right, which means it's increasing with age, or as age increases, our score increases, right? So as we move across, if it's moving up, that means the score is getting better. So there's a general trend here that older students have higher exam scores. And again, that could make sense for a number of reasons. They have better study habits, they can focus, they can read a chapter more effectively than an intro or a freshman student. So that's what we're looking for when we pit two different points of data against each other. We're looking for a relationship. Does age affect grades, generally speaking? In this case, yeah, it looks like it does. What the reason for that is, we're not going to find that out here, but this is a good starting point to, maybe think about a hypothesis as to why this might be the case, and we can do further research. But again, a basic skill in Excel that would be nice for you to do. Again, you may need to chart out your own data in another class or at work, so hopefully you're comfortable with that now, and you will be doing it in this week's activity. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Hopefully you find these helpful, and I will see you next time.